An early morning crash leaves a woman dead, while we know about the fatal incident near the Rockford Airport. And highlighting local legends, the new exhibit at a Rockford museum celebrating black athletes.
It's a fight to bring justice to Tyler, but we also want to turn that tragedy into some kind of hope.
How running is helping a family and community cope after a tragic death 7 years ago.
Live from WTVO 17. This is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Blake Dietz. Thanks for joining us this evening. Tonight, a 25-year-old woman has died following an early morning accident near the Rockford Airport. This happened at the traffic circle at Kishwaukee Street and Airport Drive. Rockford police responded to the area around 2:42 a.m. for reports of a single car crash. Less than an hour later, the department posted on X that an adult woman had sustained life-threatening injuries. At 9:36 a.m., the department posted the woman had died from those injuries. No other information is available at this time, but we'll bring you any updates as they're made available. 3 people were injured in another crash earlier this morning in Rockford. This one happened near the 19th, 100th, and 2000th block of Oregon Avenue in the Rolling Green neighborhood. And it was just after 4 a.m. The female driver sustained life-threatening injuries. Rockford police later announced the driver and 2 other occupants were in stable condition. Again, we'll bring you any further information as it's announced. Football season is in full swing, as us Bears fans are sadly aware. In Rockford, a new exhibit is highlighting state line athletes. The African American Gallery at the Ethnic Heritage Museum unveiled its newest exhibit today. It spotlights local black athletes who reached the pinnacle of football excellence by playing in the National Football League. Players featured include Carlos Polk, who was drafted in 2001, and James Robinson, of course, the Rockford Lutheran running back who found success in Jacksonville. The museum's director says athletes play an important role in a city's history.
We showcase a lot of art exhibits throughout the city, so the artists get a lot of attention, but sometimes we forget about our athletes who've made plenty of contributions. Fred Van Vliet, has been fortunate enough to come back to Rockford often and do things for the community. But it's also nice to show that there were other members of the community who didn't forget Rockford.
Other players showcased at the exhibit include Marshall Starks and Ira Matthews. A historic art fair returned to Rockford today. The 77th Greenwich Village Art Fair just wrapped up at the Rockford Art Museum. The 2-day event featured juried artists, live music, children's art activities, vendors, and more. According to organizers, the Greenwich Village Art Fair is the longest running fair of its kind in the Midwest. One organizer says its history shows just how important art is to the local community.
We know that arts and culture make such a big difference on the community that you live in. It's important for us to have that, to bring business in, to bring tourists in, to bring people to come live here. So supporting the arts is very important.
Admission proceeds from the fair go towards supporting the Rockford Art Museum. An annual 5K to raise funds and give hope to the community of Rochelle 7 years after a tragic and mysterious death to Tyler Smith. Eyewitness News reporter Tyler Sorensen takes us to the city to see the power of running and how death still brings people together.
Remembering and honoring the life of Tyler Smith through running.
Tyler was an avid runner. He would do Tough Mudder, he would do a lot of 5K, 10K races, and he just really enjoyed it. And we thought, what a great way to bring a lot of people together in a one-day event. And it represents Tyler as well.
The 5K is a part of the Tyler Smitty Smith Fund that started in 2019, a year after Tyler's mysterious death in Galesburg, Illinois, one that is still being investigated by the Illinois State Police, with all the money raised going back to local nonprofits as well as scholarships for high schoolers to go to college.
We wanted to start something in Tyler's memory, so we started that memorial count, and then to get that memorial count going, we decided let's have a 5K event. let's, have an after party after the 5K, and all the money that's raised just goes right into that endowment fund, and we've just kept it going.
Now heading into the 7th annual 5K, it has become a tradition, but also a way to help Sandy Halsney and Keith Smith cope with Tyler's passing and to bring hope to others in the community.
It's a fight to bring justice to Tyler, but we also want to turn that tragedy into some kind of hope. And that's what this race does for us, is it gives us hope, it gives the community hope that, something good can still come out of such a bad tragedy.
The 5K still brings family and friends together from all different areas to share stories and reminisce on a life taken too soon, something of a necessity for those in his circle.
Every time he would come back to town, this would happen right here. Everybody would get together. And so it's fitting that now, naturally, even after he passed, that we all still get together for him.
Getting together, sharing a smile, and remembering a life taken far too soon. In Rochelle, for your home team, I'm Tyler Sorensen.
State line families get a chance to have some hands-on fun while getting dirty to benefit those fighting cancer. The Monster Machines in Motion, a family construction adventure, returned to Janesville today. Kids got to ride large construction equipment like backhoes and haul truckers, climb through sand and rock piles, and as you see there, enjoy face painting and other games. Proceeds from the event support the Rock County Cancer Coalition. That's a nonprofit that helps ease the financial burden for those battling cancer. One event organizer says that they continue to bring the event back every year simply because of how much impact it has.
24 years ago when we started this event, the idea was let's do something different to raise money. There's a lot of golf outings. This is something different. I mean, I think one of the benefits of this type of event is that the people that come with their kids get to spend time with their family. And they spend time with their family having fun. Getting dirty and playing in the rocks and looking at big construction equipment that you only see when you're driving past it on the interstate or on the highway.
The Rock County Coalition is always looking for support. To find ways you can help, visit their website at rockcountycancercoalition.org. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, the man suspected of shooting and killing Charlie Kirk, is reportedly not cooperating with investigators. After the break, the latest from the investigation into the murder of the conservative activist.
Our high temperature today made its way into the mid and upper 80s across the state line, and we'll likely see a pretty similar forecast each day going into the middle of the week. I'll let you know when that forecast could change, including the potential for more widespread rain coming up in just a few minutes.
Tyler Robinson, the man suspected of shooting and killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk, is reportedly not cooperating with investigators. While Utah Valley University says employees will return to work on Monday and classes are set to resume Wednesday. Here's ABC's Jacqueline Lee with the latest details.
Investigators say they're still searching for a motive in the assassination of political activist Charlie Kirk as he spoke at Utah Valley University last week. Sources telling ABC News the suspected shooter, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, turned himself in after his father recognized him in these photos and urged his son to come forward. Those sources say the suspect initially said no, but later changed his mind.
He has not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating. But all the people around him are cooperating.
In a brief phone interview with NBC, President Trump repeated unfounded claims that what he calls the radical left is promoting violence.
If it were up to me, I think you need to take the word radical and remove right or left. And radical coming from any direction is not good, it's not healthy, and it should be called out.
Colorado's Democratic governor pushing back against the president's claims.
This is about the acts of an individual, the inexcusable, evil acts of an individual. And there have been more of those in different places at different times. The assassination of the Speaker of the Minnesota Assembly, shooting here in Colorado. Whatever motivates these acts, the fault and the responsibility lie with the perpetrator.
The suspect is being held on suspicion of aggravated murder, obstruction of justice, and felony discharge of a firearm. Charges are expected to be formally filed on Tuesday. Utah's Governor Spencer Cox continues to call for unity as the country recovers from another act of political violence.
Every one of us has to make a decision. Are we going to hate our neighbor? Are we going to hate the other side? Are we going to return violence with violence? Or are we going to find a different path?
Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Orem, Utah.
Some early morning fog gave way to yet another beautiful late summer day here in the state line. Up next, meteorologist Jordan Wolf joins us with what you need to know about the weather for the week ahead. It includes a few chances for rain later in the week. It is forecast right after the break.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
After some of that morning fog, we really saw sky clear out for the afternoon very quickly, allowing for bright blue skies and really a lot of sunshine to show up. That's what we have now with our Mercy Health SkyTrack cameras all across the region from downtown Rockford to Rochelle, the northeast side of Rockford, and up in Beloit. Underneath that sunny sky, our temperature was able to warm very nicely, making its way into the mid and upper 80s. For many of us in the state line, 86 the current temperature in Rockford, 87 in Rochelle, 90 degrees in Dixon and in Sterling, and you can even start to see that heat index making things feel about a degree or so warmer in many spots compared to where that air temperature is currently located. Weather watcher Terry out in Genoa reporting a temperature of 86 degrees. The dew point reversed that, 68. Easterly wind at about 8 miles per hour. A little bit more on the humid side, especially with some spots down to the south and west, feeling that more so warmer air in place down into the 90s. If you look down south and west of us, 92 the current temperature in Davenport, 97 in Sterling, in Springfield. The easterly wind, though, helping to bring us at least a little bit on that cooler side. We didn't quite make it into the 90s because of this high pressure that's pushing all of this slightly cooler air mass our direction, which ended up keeping us in the 80s. It's also kept us dry and really free of clouds here for the shorter term, although the same cannot be said well out to our west. Some severe thunderstorm warnings developing anywhere from west central Illinois up into the northern plains, even in North Dakota, a couple tornado warnings up that direction. We will likely stay dry of a lot of that moisture as we head over these next several days. And starting with the night tonight, a pretty similar night from where we were last night, except for the potential for fog quite a bit less so than what we had from last night because of a slight drop in our dew points. Easterly winds still about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Air temperature back down to the low 60s. I'll still maintain that chance for a few patches of fog, but likely not nearly as dense that it was in some spots earlier this morning. There's a lot of that moisture out to our west, producing some of those showers and storms, showing up very well, but the blocking pattern keeps this drier air here locally. We may see a little bit of that moisture try and inch closer to us, but it'll mainly be positioned out to our west across the far western parts of the viewing area over these next several days, and we don't really get much change in that. A lot of that moisture stays west of us as we head over these next few days into the middle of the week. So that keeps us generally dry and very similar, very consistent weather day after day. There is a slim chance for a few very isolated showers and storms to develop across the far western parts of the viewing area for both tomorrow afternoon and even going into Tuesday as well. But likely if you're closer to that I-39 corridor or definitely areas east, you'll stay dry over these next few days during that time. Any of those storms will likely be confined to those far western parts of the viewing area. That'll also be the case for any measurable rainfall. Notice even through Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, not a whole lot of rain here. Many models would keep us completely dry during that time, but gradually toward the end of the week, that's when our pattern will start to change. It'll break down a little bit, bringing us that potential for a little bit higher rain chances. So in the short term, almost a copy and paste forecast, 87 to 88 Monday into Tuesday, 88 again on Wednesday. We get a little bit higher in that way of cloud cover, then that drop in temperatures along with the increase in our potential rain chances. That really doesn't arrive until we get into Thursday and going into Friday.
Hot days, cooler nights. Thanks, Jordan. Drew's in next with sports. Week 2 of the NFL is underway. You can stick around to see highlights of the NFC North clash between the Bears and Lions in Detroit.
Now sports with Drew Collins.
Nobody in the NFL wants to start 0-2. Both the Bears and the Lions lost in Week 1. Both teams desperately wanted to win today. The Lions welcome in the Bears to Ford Field. After Jahmyr Gibbs' touchdown, Caleb Williams takes a trip to Rome. Rome Odunze scores on a 28-yard TD. After back-to-back Lions touchdowns, the Bears put together a drive right before the end of the first half. Rome Odunze gets his second touchdown. Bears only trail by 7, but it was all downhill from there. The Bears would only score one more time in the second half, and just garbage time at that point, because the Lions scored 28 in the first half with another touchdown there at the buzzer, and then the Lions would go on to score 24 more points in the second half. Jared Goff threw for 5 touchdowns and only 5 incompletions. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 3 receiving touchdowns, and the Lions had over 500 yards on the day. It was just a terrible second half. The Bears gave up 50 points for the first time since November of 2014. The Bears were crushed 51-21. The Packers plays Thursday and the Vikings play tonight, so let's check out some other NFC football. Giants and Cowboys in the fourth quarter. Cam Scattaboo found the end zone for the G-Men. Less than a minute to go, Dak Prescott finds George Pickens for the touchdown, and Dallas takes back the lead. But check this out, a flash to the pass. Russell Wilson looking like old Russ here, a classic moon ball, and it finds the hands of Malik Neighbors, and the Giants take the lead with 25 seconds left. But the Cowboys got a quick few passes down the field, and Brandon Aubrey sends it to OT, 37-37. In overtime, neither team could find the end zone. It would come down to another Brandon Aubrey field goal, which he would make, so the Cowboys win it 40-37. And speaking of the Minnesota Vikings, they have another primetime game. They will host Sunday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons. Kickoff is set for 7:20. It's the final game of the Cubs homestand, Cubs and Rays. Shota Imanaga gives up the no-doubter on the 4th pitch of the game. Fast forward only 5 pitches later, and the Rays send out another deep ball. That one goes all the way to the bleachers. But eventually Ian Happ wakes up the Cubs. He sends Hauser to the basket all the way out in left field. The Cubs would take the lead in the 7th thanks to Nico Horner. Horner led the way with 3 RBIs. The Cubs win the series and win the game 4-3. White Sox and Guardians in Cleveland. Just like yesterday, the Sox strike first. Miguel Vargas sends this one off the wall. And look at Lenin Sosa getting on his horse and rounding the bases, and he will score. The Sox trailed in the 5th until Chase Mydroff homered to tie it 2-2. That's his 5th long ball this year. But in the 7th inning, it was Bo Naylor to give the Guardians the go-ahead run. Cleveland sweeps the Sox. Chicago only scores 3 runs in the 3-game series, and the Sox lose 3-2. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Once again, a dry look on the First Warn interactive radar from Rockford Glass, showing us the potential for even a little bit of a patch of fog overnight tonight, but not nearly as dense as what it was last night. Air temperatures down to the low 60s. We're back in the upper 80s for the next few days. Still dry until we head toward the end of the week.
Thank you, Jordan, and thank you for joining us. That's our show. We'll see you at 10.